When I was poor and they gave me a plate of wood like this, people told me that is a sign of poverty. Now that I'm worth tens of millions of dollars, the plate of wood came back. Well, you just use plates of whatever, ceramics or what. We never had that in the village. You see, life is about paradox. It is only what you believe that you are. If I had not believed that lie, that wood was a sign of poverty, I didn't need to struggle with poverty. And there are still a lot of people in the villages right there. If you go to the village and see them eating from the pool, you would, poverty. They don't have plate. These people are so poor, they don't have plates. Ordinary plates they don't have. So what will you say now? Ordinary plate we still don't have? You know, I'm not the one who told them to put the wood for me. They are the one doing it. I said, why wood? They said, because that is the high class. Huh?
Yes.
That is the original. I said, But that's what I had when I was in the village. That's exactly what I had in the village when they said it was a sign of poverty. So it's now a sign of wealth. It's a sign of wealth right now. Everything depends on how you say. When I was growing up in the village, I couldn't drink Coca-Cola. And especially Fanta and Sprite that I like so much. But the reason why I didn't, so I thought I was cursed, and because it's poverty. But now I still don't drink Coca-Cola and Sprite. After drinking it for 20 years without stop. You know what I discovered? That you are more blessed not to drink Coca-Cola than to drink it. But when I was not drinking it in the village, I was tagged as poor and unfortunate. I thought I was unfortunate. Now that I can buy Coca-Cola bottle and Sprite, I cannot afford to drink it. And it's not because I'm poor. You get it? Yeah. Another story from that same drinking thing. When I was in the village, I was taught by my grandmother to drink water. And I hated her for it. Because she couldn't afford the juice. Bottle juice like this, or canned juice, whatever. We couldn't afford it. So I thought I was unfortunate, unlucky, and that my grandmother gave me a miserable life. But now that I can drink any kind of juice, I have to only drink water. Why? The real thing is that it is only water that is good for me.
Amen.
You see, the life of paradox. If we could just change the outlook and worldview of Africans like that. Most of the things we strive all our years, all our lives to get and acquire, another time is coming when we will to get rid of. Let me tell you another example. When I was a young man, 20 in my 20s, and I started my ministry, my biggest dream was to build a church of 15,000 people. I thought I would be successful when I do. But I built a church of 100,000 people. And in Kiev City, 25,000 people. Then, 20 years later, I had to stand on my knees to tell people to get rid of people. Success is relational. It's relative. Relative. Is that relative? Is that the word? Relative. Success is relative. Poverty is relative. The other day, an African man stood up in St. Petersburg, Russia, and tried to teach the Russian people. Then this Russian man stood up and said, "Who are you, black man, to teach us? Your grandparents, look at the way they grew up. They didn't even have clothes until we Europeans came to clothe them. They were savage. Your grandmother was a savage. So what will you teach me? I said, oh, how I wish I was there. Oh, how I wish I was there. Oh, how I wish I was there. I would have given them a good answer. Yes. My grandparents didn't have clothes when they were growing up in Africa. But they didn't have cancer either. They didn't have clothes, but they had more joy than you who wear clothes today. But the most important thing, they didn't have clothes, but they also didn't have shame. But with all your clothes, you can still not get rid of depression. I have to come to deliver you. Everything is relative. Oh, what is it? What is that? Relative? I said yes. Relative. So don't be too sad about what you lack. Thank God for what you don't lack. Because that which you think you lack today, you'll be thinking of a way to get rid of tomorrow. Yes. I know a lady, and I saw the picture in Facebook, that she thought she was too black. So she decided to brighten her color. When she was 45, all the skin dropped. And she wanted to go back to being black again. But she couldn't. What she had was a blessing. She thought it was a curse. But when she got what she wanted to get, she discovered that that is the curse. What she was actually looking for was a curse rather than a blessing. I saw another lady who didn't have buttocks because she thought all other women who have backside are the ones who are blessed. She thought she was not blessed enough. So she wanted to blame God for a poorly done job. So she went and decided to add to God's work to compensate God's labor. And she went and injected her backside. And then the backside began to drop piece by pieces and scatter. And then she knew she was blessed when she thought she was cursed. And now that she got what she was running after, is when she really became cursed. So, I was telling somebody the other day that we can make it in Nigeria. Was telling me, no, the economic situation is bad. I said, okay, you want economic situation so that it will be good, like in Europe? I said, yeah, if I had been living in Europe, no problem. I mean, I won't have had the, okay. I said, now, you see, I live in Europe, where economic situation is good. I said, you know what? Because of the fact that economic situation is good, I'm in trouble. Because I have to go and work out in the gym. Otherwise, I will die. But when I was living in my village, when the economic situation was bad, I didn't know what gym meant and where it was situated. I was fit and strong. The nature took care of me. Let's open the window. I think it's hot now. But you don't know the blessings in what you are causing a curse. And then I told him the story that when I was in Ukraine, as a student, I never had a car. And I prayed, I troubled God until He gave me one. That was when I started noticing that even me, I could grow stomach. I thought only women could grow one when they are pregnant. But man, I discovered I didn't need pregnancy to grow one. The car gave me one very fast. So, who is really blessed? It's relative. It's relative. So when people go to church and say, you must have this, you must have this, that's what people are thinking. You must have to be blessed. But who said you are not blessed right now without that car? Who said you are not blessed without that Coca-Cola? When I was not having Coca-Cola, I thought I was cursed. I was not blessed. But now that I can afford Coca-Cola, I know that that was when I was blessed, when I couldn't afford it. When I was eating from the wood like this, I pitied myself. I almost committed suicide.
Wow.
I wanted to commit suicide 3 times when I was growing up in Africa. Because I thought not having a plate to eat and a cup to drink from, but calabash and the wood, just wood, that God dried up. I thought that was a sign of poverty, and it means that God had forgotten about me. But from God's perspective, I was as blessed as anybody else. In fact, I was more blessed. So now that I can afford, these people just shocked me. Because all they are bringing this, I said, well, they say it's from 5-star hotel. Ah! This is where I'm coming from. So I grew up in 5-star hotel. I grew up 5-star hotel, and I didn't know it. I thought I was not blessed.
How old were you when you wanted to commit suicide?
13 and 14. 11, 13 and 14. Because I thought the poverty was too much. Because I saw people who could buy Coca-Cola and I couldn't buy. I couldn't drink Coca-Cola. But when I began to drink Coca-Cola, I got introduced to what they call cholesterol. So I now have to pray to God to help me get rid of Coca-Cola. Because I discovered it's not a blessing.
Every child in Africa needs to see this infomercial.
I don't know if anybody is recorded from beginning.
Yes.
We need to get it. We need to really, because it's relative. Everything is relative, and we've been deceived. All of us have been deceived. My grandmother, she could never read, and she could never write. But she was always taking me to the bush to work hard. But there were family members, and some of them were watching now. At that same age, what age was it? This is one of the reasons I wanted to come into that. We were growing up in the village together. At 9 years old, these people were taken to England, all my age mates, because we were in that same category before, but we had tragedy in our family. So we lost everything. I have to go back to the bush. And they were moved to England to study primary school. They finished their primary school in England, secondary school. And I was there in that village, and it's not just about, I couldn't even get Coca-Cola or plate. It was so bad, I couldn't even get shoes from being carried with car when I was 6. So I thought I was cursed, frankly speaking. Not just me thought like that. Everybody in the village thought. But you know what? Let me tell you what happened. Let me tell you how that was not a curse, really. That tragedy, everything that we lost, going back to the village, that is what I call cursed. Going to the bush to cut the tree and do that, being in the sun 16 hours a day, that was what I was calling cursed. Because at that time, these people were flying the plane. They were going to school in England, aircon. They were wearing dress, uniform, school uniform with tie. That was at 9. But I was in the bush. But today, I have to supply resources for all those people that have been in England since we were 9. I have to support them now. Because they went to study there, they didn't develop the stamina to survive life challenges. I didn't know that prosperity and success in real life demands stamina. I thought it demanded elite education. So what I was calling blessed, none of them, there were all those kids that went that time, there were about 10 of them. None of them, not just is doing as good as they, everybody, all of them are just happy that we are the same, we grew up together. That's the biggest pride achievement of all of them right now. Because while I was in the village, cutting the trees, enduring, I was taught endurance when things are tough, in difficulties. I was taught never to cut corners. I was taught to endure and persevere. I was taught, but my mother couldn't come. She didn't know what all those things mean. She didn't know she was giving me the greatest education. And she didn't know she was giving me the greatest wealth. I thought the wealth was in the plane. I thought the wealth was in the uniform. I thought the wealth was in the fact that they were standing in their classroom, maybe 1, 2 blacks, and every other people, British people, white people. I thought that was a blessing. Coming home for holiday, summer holiday, they call it. And I thought I would be in the bush. I thought that was punishment. Those are the reasons why I wanted to commit suicide. There are kids in Africa right now who want to commit suicide as we are talking right now. Because I was only eating a bar in the morning, garden in the afternoon, every day. We only eat rice on Christmas. So I thought that was punishment. But when life, each stage of my life, I have come to discover that life demands stamina. And I have to fall back to the stamina that I developed when I was 16 hours in the bush under the sun. So when I came to the university and my professor said, you will never speak the language, I fell back. I remember that if I could survive it in the bush, under that sun, I can sit in the library. That is how maybe somebody heard that I was always going to the library and stay there for 6 hours because of the stamina I got. So for the next 6 years of my university here, I never missed a day in the library from Monday to Friday. I will always go after we start school at 7:30 in the morning, finish at 2:30. At 3, I'm already in the library, and I'm there till 10 o'clock, at 9 o'clock at night. And that's how I became the best student in the university. My curse actually was my blessing. Then when I began at the church, I discovered that prayer was important. So I would pray. Can you believe this? Every single day for 6 hours. I never went to preach without praying. Between the littlest I ever prayed would be 4 hours. But 6 hours, I never. But I discovered that most people cannot pray for 6 hours. Then once a month, I will pray for 14 to 18 hours. I discovered that people cannot even pray for 6 hours, talk less than 14 hours. You know where I got that from? Yeah. My stamina in the bush. Yeah. What I was cursing my mother for. Yeah. What I was about to commit suicide for. I didn't know I needed it to build a mega church in Europe. I didn't know I needed it to make millions later in life. I didn't know I needed it to raise up other people. My curse was actually my blessing. It is this, my wood, that reminded me of my village. When I came to Europe, I thought, now I would take a revenge. I'm going to avenge my poverty. So because I came to Europe here, There was Coca-Cola, Sprite, Fanta, and all kinds of juice that I didn't even see in Africa. So I said, now is my time. It's a payback time for me. So I said, I'm going to declare, yes. I'm going to declare a bank, what do you call it? No, when you refuse to go to somewhere. When you, when you do sports, when you do sports, you boycott it. Is it, what do you call it? Boycott, yeah. I'm going to boycott water. So I declared a boycott for water. For 9 years, I never tasted water. Because for me, growing up in Africa, ignorance had taught me that because I was only drinking water, that water was a sign of poverty. I didn't know water is the only blessing that nature itself gives. So because I thought it was a sign of poverty, I rejected it. I said, I'm not going to drink water anymore. I would rather be drinking all the sweet stuff. Until they rushed me to the hospital, they said, there's no water in your body. What happened? I said, I don't drink water. They said, what? They said, instead of water, you have cholesterol. Wow. They said, you're going to kill yourself. So I said, doctor, you want to tell me water is a blessing? They said, you must drink 2 liters a day. I said, that's what I was doing when I was in the village. So you mean it's a blessing? They said, that other thing you are drinking is not a blessing. It is the water that's a blessing. You see, the paradox. The paradox of life. So when that Russian man said, you are savage, your grandmother, you are walking naked in Africa. I said, but we didn't have depression. But they said, you live in trees. We do live in trees. We do. But you have what? You have houses. 3 houses. So why are you still not happy? If my parents or my grandparents are savages in Africa, illiterate, backward, their backwardness make them to be very far from cancer, from heart attack, from cholesterol. I think we need to educate Africa and let our people know that they are blessed and everything they have, they should just thank God for it. Like I said about my cars. I was here in Ukraine, pastoring my church. I didn't have a car. If you go and look at the picture, I was so straight. My stomach was firm. Because I was walking like 3, 4, 5 kilometers a day. But today I only sit kilometers. That's where the stomach is coming from. You see this? You think this is by accident? You think this is by accident? It's by sitting in car. So there is a blessing in every situation.
There's been terrible flooding in Peru in the last weeks, and there's 15,000 organic farmers who will be watching this with translation to Spanish, and their children, and most of them have had their crops and their life wiped out. Could you say a few words to them, please, sir?
You only know the value of light when there is darkness. If you only have light all the time, you never saw and never experienced darkness. You never even know by definition what darkness is. You will just be complaining about life. You will just be complaining and just be saying things are not all right. This one is not as it is that. But when you get into darkness one time, and then you have to grope, and then you have to hit your head against the wall because you couldn't see anything. Then your feet, then you now be praying and thanking God for light. if no matter how small that light was. Why should we often or seldom or at times experience tragedy? If you only have joy perpetually, blessings perpetually, abundance perpetually, you are doomed, because you will not know how to thank God for it. You can only thank God for joy when you have sadness. You can only thank God for abundance when you experience lack. You can only thank God. You can only know how blessed you are when evil, dark, and black time comes. When you never suffer loss, it's only increase, increase, increase. You will only be selfish. You will only be greedy. You will only be proudful. You will only be self-assured. You will only be egocentric. So actually, sometimes, the real blessing is not what we call blessing. Sometimes the real blessing is that lack. Sometimes the real blessing is that darkness. Sometimes the real blessing is that loss. Sometimes the real blessing is that lack of abundance. So that you will be able to know, compare, and value, and praise, and humble, and worship. Some people say, why would God, I will never believe in God. I say, why? Why should God, they said children are not to blame for anything. Why should children be born deaf, or lame, or disabled? I said, okay, let's try it. Why don't we just try it? Let's try a situation where there are no disabled. Let's try it. Let's try a situation where there are no deaf, no blind, everybody is just healthy and strong. Let's even try a situation when there are no old people. Everybody is just strong and healthy. Then you will taste what it means to be without compassion. Compassion will disappear from the earth. Mercy will disappear from the earth. Brotherliness, love will disappear from the earth. Then when love disappears, when mercy disappears, when compassion disappears, then let's create a picture of what reigns. Wickedness. Because you are strong, I'm strong, only the one that is stronger gets his way. Because, there are nothing to condition me for compassion and for understanding and for love. So I only depend on strength. And if that's the only thing I know, that's the only instrument and weapon I will use. I will not use the weapon of mercy because I'm not used to it. So if I want to go through that door and you want to go also, I will kill you. Is the fittest, what do you call it? Survival of the fittest. So it will be a wicked. So if your wife goes out, because I'm strong, I'm going to rape her or take her over. If your son or daughter comes out, I'm going to say, no, I'm the one who is mine. I'm going to rape your daughter because you cannot challenge me. If we live in a world where there are no disabled, where there are no weak people, where there are no old people, where there are no fragile people, even now that we have all those people, you look at the young people, how they look at older people. We think we will never be like that. And we look down at them. We bypass them. We are callous to them. Even though we know we will be like that one day. Now, look at a situation when you know you will never get old. You will blame them. And you will think it's thanks to you that you are strong. And you will even never see the need to be compassionate towards them. The only reason that we could still be compassionate towards them because you still remember something. Okay, one day I will be like that. A world without darkness, just of light, creates a people that are ungrateful, that don't know what to thank God for. a word that is only full of strength without weakness is a word of wickedness that will crush and kill others. God is full of wisdom. So when atheists say that, oh, why should he do this, why should he do that? They don't know. So we should thank God for every situation, and we should learn from every situation. So then why do tragedies happen? Why the flood happen? Why the war happen? Well, if the floods have not happened, do you think we would have had irrigation? Because of every tragedy, we have a blessing. The other side of every tragedy that happens, okay, they say, why war then? Why war? Oh, because without war, we will not value peace. But thanks to the Second World War that killed so many people, even the ones who are building instruments, weapons, it's just so that they will not have war. It's not so that they will have war anymore. I don't know if you get it. Because even America and Russia, they all have weapons of mass destruction. It's not because they want war, but so that there will be no war. What taught them that? You thought they are so smart? Men are never smart. They are only thinking they are smart when everything is okay, going their way. They only got to know that after they went to war.
Thank you, sir.
I'm sorry. I was just planning to show you this one. That's it's just the plane that started the problem. I was not planning to talk, really. Yeah. You have a question? He has a question too.
If we look at how young people, especially from Africa, how they die trying to cross from Morocco, Algeria, Libya to Europe, I think this message is very necessary at this moment for especially us, the young people from Africa, that thinks that there's greener pastures over here in Europe, and forgetting to look into their immediate environment and explore the opportunities that are there. Then crossing over to Europe and facing a lot of things as an illegal immigrant, you're running away from police, from immigration, and they're doing odd jobs and settling down for criminal activities. This is a message that is very necessary for us now. And I want to urge every one of us to post it on our Facebook pages so that our friends, because some people think that those of us, the people in Europe, they are living big, they are just making a lot of money, and they want by every means to come over this way. Pastor, thank you for this.
People, yeah, because one of the reasons why people in Africa should rejoice is because Uncle Sam has not totally taken over yet.
Yes.
People in Europe, they are envying you because Europe and America is totally now under Uncle Sam. Yes, ma'am.
So essentially, what you're saying is that what may be causing you extreme pain actually is your extreme blessing.
Sorry?
I said, what may be causing you extreme pain is actually your extreme blessing.
Yeah, just like talking in the same vein. Last year in Ukraine here, you can't believe all else just got loose. It was like, and I know it, I saw it. I saw it's like Polshishe, what do you call Polshishe? An army of demons. Not army, what do you call it? A host of demons. Legion. A legion of demons were released from the pit of hell. And they were coming against me and my ministry. And I thought, how can people be so wicked? Then I discover all kind of news stories that even when I hear myself, I'm frightened. all rumors, all kind of things. So then God told me it's never between you and people. People don't have anything to do with it. But it's for your purpose. It's for your good. Crisis only come to reveal your friends and your enemy. On one hand, the people who would depart from you who are never yours. You thought they were yours. You are living in deception. So crisis comes to open your eyes. Crisis comes to deliver you from self-inflicted deception. Crisis comes to cleanse your surrounding. Crisis comes to tell you and show you people who are never for you, and you are relying on them. When you begin to rely on your enemies to feed you and to prepare the bed for you, you don't know they are putting python under that bed, and putting poison in that food, and they are the ones you are trusting. So crisis comes to unveil them. Hallelujah. Crisis comes to unveil them. It's not as bad. Huh? It's not bad.
It's good. Rejoice.
So sometimes when things like that need to be done, and God needs to secure you and your future, because He still needs you for greater things, He allows the legion, a host of hell, to be released. Because the ones that are not yours will always be frightened. And they will be the first to run away. But then, crisis is not as bad. It doesn't just reveal your enemies and those who are never yours. It also unveils and reveals to you people that were so far from you. And you thought they don't even know you, or they don't belong. Then you discover that, you are the only one who is left. Crisis comes to reveal your friends too. It's a blessing. So what you are now saying, so another thing is, crisis also comes to return you back to not your priority or people's priorities, but His priority.
Amen.
How? When you are basking in good, in blessing, you will blessing ceases to be blessing when it's perpetual.
Yes.
Blessing when it's perpetual, when it's continuous, when it's all the time. When you are getting blessed all the time, you don't know that blessing is no more a blessing. That's become a curse, and you don't know it. And let me use my own practical example. That host of hell, that legion of hell, I needed it. First of all, to reveal my environment and people, from my friends and my enemies. Secondly, it needed to cause my blessing so that I will begin to see. Because when you are in a blessing, you stop seeing.
Wow.
When you are immersed in blessing, you only see blessing. But when God removes the blessing, the mountain of blessing, even if it's a mountain of blessing, the mountain goes down, then you're able to see the other side. Let me give you a practical example here. Until that crisis came, I never saw any need to extend myself to the outside world.
What?
Yes, the blessings of the embassy of God was overwhelming already. It became a mountain that blocked my mind and my eyes.
Even though you knew you had the calling.
Even though I knew I had the calling. But I was seeing what is ahead of me like this. I am in a hole of blessing. So I was only attending to my immediate environment. I could never hear that there are other people out there. Whatever. I thought if they needed it, let them come here. So when God removed the blessings, He removed the mountain and reduced it. Then you can be, you mean apart from this whole, there is a whole life, a whole world, Because if not for that crisis, I will not raise up my head to begin to say that there are other children of God in other places, apart from the ones that I call mine. God is not concerned about mine, he's concerned about his. And all of them are his.
There has to be a follow the way for others to be grafted in.
Yes. Hence, all of you are here today, thanks to that crisis. But meanwhile, the people where I was in the blessing, they were already overfed. And each time you overdrink or overfeed, it's called, what do you call it? Diminishing returns. So it stops gratifying you, satisfying you. It begins to intoxicate you. So people have been intoxicated around me, and I thought they were being blessed. They were actually being poisoned
Or
by
suffocated.
blessing and suffocated.
That is good.
Yes,
By
sir.
blessings. Suffocated by blessings.
By blessing, yes.
That is a good title.
Samuel.
When you were saying this, I just thought to share this with you, sir. 2 weeks ago, God showed me something, and I shared it with Pastor Louis. I saw you in a laborer's cloth.
Laborer.
Worker.
Laborer, okay.
Like a builder, and you held an instrument, and you were carrying a lot of building materials, and you were heavily in tears, and the only thing, you were oblivious of everything around you. The only word in your mouth was, I'm going back to Nigeria. I'm going back to Nigeria. And I saw you carrying these building materials, and you were moving towards an uncompleted building. And I just ran ahead and started telling everybody that he needs somewhere to place these things. He needs somewhere to place these things. And I just believe that this is the time God really is ready for Africa and to do something through you there, sir.
Yeah, Pastor, I just want to second that on video for people to see. I've only known Pastor Sunday in the context of Ukraine, and I couldn't imagine him going back to Africa and all of that. And I didn't even know of his detailed plans. I didn't know about it. And I received the most bizarre dream. And in the dream, I was standing on the stage here at the Embassy of God Church, and I was preaching, and I said, Pastor Sunday is going to come into Nigeria like a good explosion. That was the word. He'll come into Nigeria like a good explosion. And then at the end of the dream, I whispered something in his ear that I could never fathom, especially from a white Canadian context. I said, Pastor, can you imagine when Africa leads the world? I'd never even heard a statement like that before. I didn't have any context for that at all. And Pastor just kind of in the dream quieted me as though it's not time yet. It's not revealed yet. And that was the end of the dream. And then I called him on Skype. And he said, you wouldn't believe, and began to tell me and confirm that. So I believe without a shadow of a doubt, I am assured Pastor is going to Africa.
Yes.
There's a guy here who is not on Facebook. He just wrote me. He's not even a friend. See what he's writing. I don't know him. I don't know what country he comes from, but I think it's Nigeria. Sir, I appreciate God for you. I've always had revelations and dreams, seeing you return to Nigeria, and you are carrying out some divine assignment. And I was walking, seeing you all around. In the last revelation, I saw you. The last revelation I had was the 1st of, today is the 1st of April, right? Mm-hmm. But the 1st of March, 2017, you went to Benin City, Nigeria, and you are correcting and rebuking ministers of the gospel. So I want to know, do you have any plan? Is Holy Spirit talking to you about visiting Nigeria or coming back to Nigeria? He's asking me.
This is what the Lord says. He's not letting Pastor Sunday come back to Nigeria yet, because God is allowing a few 100,000 people to prepare themselves. And maybe only 10,000 or 20,000 of those who are called will do it. But those of you who are called by God to prepare yourself for when he comes, so that you can launch the same thing in your nation in Africa that he'll be launching in Nigeria, you will accelerate the revival worldwide by years if you'll be obedient So this is your time of preparation. Make
So God
sure
is
you don't
delaying
miss
me
it.
here for your sake,
Amen.
so that you be cubed.
We need to be in this same spirit,
Okay.
because it's never going to work if we don't know the things that we know. We need to be in this same
Pastor
spirit
Obi,
and carry
what
the same
would you
spirit.
like to contribute now? I've always liked your wisdom.
Let me just, Pastor, when you talked about poverty,
Write that thing for me, please. Write it to me and send it to my mail.
you spoke about poverty. You felt you were poor then. And now, those who were here during the last HMT, I just opened, some notes that I made. Let me just read just a few lines. Say, money is not the determining factor for wealth or poverty. The state of your finances is not what determines if you are rich or poor. We are the ones who enthrone or exalt money to the paramount position in our lives. Over re-emphasizing money, we make it an object of worship. The greatest riches, wealth, and resources remain unrecognized and untapped by you. I can go on and on and on. So this is like the continuation. So it's like, then you thought you were poor because you had other value. Yes, even to the point of trying to commit suicide. The value system then was different. You were comparing yourself.
I was deceived.
You were deceived because you had another value system. So see that what we have now, it still goes back to that, like talking about Africa and like what my brother here said. We just don't realize what we have. For centuries, the continent was colonized, and there's still neo-colonialism today.
Say they are poor.
Because your resources are still untapped. Despite the fact that for centuries they've been squandered, they've been stolen, but they are still there. The vultures are still there, hovering. The foxes are there. The wolves are there, devouring. But the resources are still intact. When you spoke about the young men and women moving over from North Africa to losing their lives, you see 200 people drowned, 100 missing. These people on the desert,
like me,
that was
who wanted
it.
to commit suicide.
That was it. So it brings me to a phrase that the grass on the other side might be greener because it's fake.
That is Ken Roger.
That's right. Because it's fake, it's artificial. You need to cultivate your land. Your land is blessed. Cultivate it, and the grass will be green, and not just green, it will be evergreen.
And it's not fake.
And it's not
fake.
fake, and it will be evergreen, natural. So, Pastor, it's like talking about going to Nigeria. I support that. I've gotten that message that the people are not ready yet. You can't throw what belongs to the children to the dogs. The dogs are still roaming there for now. The workers are still not ready. It's not yet time. So that's why, when this whole thing happened, it coincided with the time that Facebook stopped your message, live broadcasts. Then that was when the DSA family, as we are here now, we now grew our wings and our horns and anything you can call it. So the transformation is not just going to come from that tree, Pastor Sunday. It's going to come from the fruits and the forest that we're talking about. So the changes, the transformation that we're talking about starts from you and I seated here. Even with our friends as well, the European friends, others from other continents. We are starting. We are the ones. When I tell my siblings that this is what is going to happen, this is what is going on, it will be easier for them to accept it that when they are hearing one Pastor Sunday somewhere, when you tell your siblings, they will understand.
Because there is a model.
There is a model. You are the model. You carry that. You are that seed, and the forest will come from you. So we are not ready yet. That is why the delay is here. So
Pastor Rory said too.
that's right. That's why he's there. So the delay is not a tragedy like that Dr. Success wrote in his book. That is the message. So it will give us more time to gather like this, to still tap more into this knowledge, so that we get ourselves prepared for the work ahead. Some of us now are thinking of how to maybe stop their work, stop working for Uncle Sam, so that he or she will get ready for that mission over there. Some will need to finish school maybe in 2, 3, 4, 5 years. How long God wants this to happen? To be prepared for this. So that when the first soldiers move in there, they will conquer the land first. They will settle the things there. The builders will come in to rebuild. And then those who will raise the skyscrapers will come in.
This is a prophet.
And that is when we talk of growth. That is when our friends across other continents will want to visit us. So everything is in our hands right now. So those who are watching, those in the DSA family, please continue the work you are doing. If you are teaching people, whatever you are doing, people are having relationship courses, people are talking about, creating leadership programs, different programs, continue. Don't think you have just 3 people following you or watching you live. It's okay. People will go back and watch. When my wife and I will do our programs, we might have like 20 people there. But in 30 minutes, you have 500 views. In 1 hour, it gets up by 1,000. Before you know it, we stopped counting even. So people will watch. They will watch it after that. So everything is in our hands. Like I shared my testimony a few days ago at the Pastor Summit. God has given us, we have the rod in our hand. When God sent Moses to Pharaoh, said, let my people go. Moses was like, who am I? Who am I? How would they believe me? God showed him signs and told him, okay, Moses, what do you have in your hand? He said, my rod. He said, that's it, go forth. So we have the rod, we have our missions, we have our teachings, we have our knowledge. That's the rod we have in our hands. It's just for us to go over there. And in all the miracles that Moses and Aaron performed in front of Moses came from where? That rod. He says, stretch forth thy rod. And the frogs and the toads came up. Stretch forth thy hands with your rod. And what happened? A grail came from heaven. So I still ask everybody, like I asked a few days ago, find your rod. So everybody in the DSA family, all Africans, wherever you are, find your rod. Stop talking and waiting for your government. Stop wasting your time discussing this senator against that senator and the president. You're just wasting your time. The people you think who are going to solve your problem as politicians are the people that caused it in the first place. So it is you. When you and I, all of us come together and know that, yes, that's when you can take over your land. That's when you can take over. Then you will set the standards. You will set the value system that nobody can ever destroy again. And that's when we can really be liberated. Yes. No outsider can liberate you if you are not liberated. You cannot be a free slave. Nobody can free you as a slave if you are not slave, if you are not already free in your mind again. You cannot be accepted if you don't accept yourself first. Until we get to the point that our brothers and sisters will stop running over to Europe, risking their lives, understanding that, yes, the land is green. And they stay back and we have that future. Until we get to that point, 10 Pastor Sundays can come, it will not work. And that is why God is withdrawing, holding for. Say, wait. That's it. Let the people first get their rod and move forward.
Amen.
Then the manifestation should come. Thank you, Pastor.
That's begun. And I think what you said now is why I believe that it will start like a, when I'm trying to use, is it like a volcano that you won't know that it wants to erupt, but internally things are happening, but nobody knows until there is that. So that is how it's going to be. It will be brewing, but everybody will think that the mountain is silent, and suddenly there's this explosion.
Come in like an explosion.
Yeah, it will just explode. So I believe that God is doing the work already.
And if you don't know what your rod is, take the tools that Pastor has already made available and work yourself so you're ready to go to the next level when it comes to Africa. Please. I'll be doing that as well. Thank you.
Now I have a question for Pastor Sunday. It's busy. I'm going to tell you the reason why I did not buy a book, Nigeria Leadership, because I find it. I have not read it. Probably I'm not. I hope I'm wrong, but I was wondering why only Nigeria, and I have not yet the answer until this guy said. Louis said 54 countries. Maybe you may change the title or write another book.
You need to read the book, then you'll understand why it says Nigeria. I helped a little bit on the proofreading. It's Nigeria, but every book will have its own book later. Everyone has their own story.
Principles will apply.
Okay, good.
You have to go and read it.
Then I have to read it. Because I felt like, I'm not from.
Did you see the book already?
Yes.
Hey, you have it?
Is it kind of consuming Nigeria?
No, you are there. You have the Nigerian name.
Which one?
Yes.
Amen.
Last year when last year was here.
And I love her Congo. It's a place
You are dangerous.
You
You are fast.
Do you need a break, or are you good?
Well,
It's 5:20.
we will all need to go soon. We all need to go soon to the hall, so they are still eating their cake.
Shall I read some
We have
comments?
about 10 minutes. Yeah, please. I didn't know you were having direct live.
I did, sir.
You have intuition.
Success is relative, DSA. Haha, somebody laughing with you. You didn't need any gymnasium. These were the earlier messages that you shared. To the bottom. Okay.
Our rod, our weapon. That's right.
Amazing, awesome. This is a summit in itself. Just follow these sessions with Pastor, with the family.
Preacher, the summit, and the message came now. Thank God for the food.
Pastor Encho in Bulgaria greets you. Encho.
Wow, greetings to him.
Lovely. Hello, family. Find your rod. I have started my Facebook live stream, and I simply cannot stop. That's Olaniye. Gideon, somebody see you. Ebu Chalam, Uche. Prosperity and success is really life's demands. Stamina, in quotes, DSA. Hello, I speak not English. Okay, sorry. I think this person doesn't understand. Don't be too sad about what you lack, because time will come that you will get rid of it. Okay, that's it. There isn't much comments. Hello, guys. Have you shared this message today? Can you please share? Thank you. I can see some people with thumbs up and love. Thank you. Thank you for joining us today. I hope you've enjoyed this session. It's another impromptu session. I haven't actually titled it properly. I think I titled it a story time. I will change that.
I think McDonald's Anastasia just gave a title that might be interesting that we could use.
Okay, I haven't seen
You
it.
remember what she said? Anastasia.
Extra.
Great.
Finish it.
Your extreme pain is your extreme blessing.
Extreme.
Extreme pain.
She said your
Greatest
extreme.
pain is your
and
greatest
your greatest
blessing.
Greatest pain, greatest blessing.
Yeah.
Okay, maybe somebody else will ask another option. Well, I think that's not bad.
So, guys, thank you for joining. Please continue to share.
Your
And
great-
somebody else has got another suggestion. Go on, Rochelle.
oh no, it's just your greatest pain can be your greatest blessing. Yeah.
Okay. And so you also said my curse, my blessing. The Paradox of Life. So I had that as a title before, but I can use one of these.
Yeah, that's a very literary word. It's like literature.
Okay. So everyone can. Okay, so that's a title.
Title.
Yeah.
Like a book.
So it's My Curse, My Blessing, The Paradox of Life. So I'll be titling this later on. Thank you again for joining. Please share this. And
Yeah, please.
hold
Or
on.
you might need to come closer.
Kate has got some examples for us. I always love hearing her examples.
Very strong.
Yeah.
You can see she's from University of Life for you.
This is how I think now, because Pastor he taught us to think like you have to see some examples from your life that confirms what Pastor is saying. So, few examples. One small girl, 4 years old, walking with her mom on the street with luggage, because they are moving from house to house, from house to house, from house to house, and she never has her room, her own room. So this girl is struggling. She's dreaming of having the room. And she says to her mom, "Mom, I'll never have children unless I have a house." What a wisdom. What a wisdom. 4 years old girl that never knew life. She only knew that she is struggling when going from house to house. And her mother, she's 25 and she doesn't know this wisdom. She doesn't know that in order to have children, you need to prepare for children. So 4 years old girl can have such wisdom just because she has this adversity, because she has this obstacle. 4 years old, and the wisdom cannot be compared to the wisdom of mother that is 25. So this is the experience that I had in my life. It was me, this girl.
Wow. Thank you for sharing that.
And my mom, she said she was blown away with this word when I said this, because she understood that children can have wisdom this time. Another funny story. Some time ago I started to lose sight. Not so much, but I started to understand that I cannot see far. And I was so upset with this. I thought, I want to see all this beauty around. God, why am I losing this sight? I want to see everything clear, just like I was seeing this before. And one day I ordered glasses. I wear glasses, and oh my God, what a disappointment. Because before I used to see faces, they were so beautiful, all faces, they were so beautiful. Just like Photoshop, you know? And I wear glasses, I see also all those spots. I see all those, you know, not very beautiful things on the faces. And I thought, like, I was enjoying beauty before. And I don't see this beauty anymore because I have glasses and I see everything. Another example is that one girl, one young teenager whose parents were alcohol dependent. She was struggling. She was thinking, God, why did you punish me for this? Why did you do this to me? Why did you give parents like this? But this girl was developing in the way that no other teenager were developing. This girl was able, 13 years old, she had already a business because she had to support herself. She was able to prepare for herself to what she will eat for dinner, for lunch. She was supporting herself, and she was independent at 13 years old. And she was thinking that she was not that happy, not that successful, because her parents were addicted, and she had to take care of herself. But you know what? This girl had more opportunities because she was able to take opportunity from 13 years old, not from 25 when she starts understanding something. So she gained 10 years of her life just because of her parents were alcohol dependent. And this girl was me. I was so upset. And now I'm so happy because I started developing much more earlier, and I started using opportunities. And that's why 20 years old, I went already abroad traveling, while other people, they were sitting next to mom. And another, Another example is from my life. I got in an accident and I crashed with a bike and got into hospital. I was abroad and I had a boyfriend there, which I thought he loved me. I got in the hospital and he never came there, and I was so upset. I was so crying. I was not able to believe this. And finally I found out that I was lucky to see earlier. This is what Pastor said, that you can see around, when you have crisis, you can see who's around you. Many friends, they left. And one person who I was always not respecting so much, only this person were coming always and supporting me. And this time I only understood that you cannot judge by how these people look like. You never know who is the person inside unless you have crisis. And I learned this early, and this is because of the troubles and adversity. And another example is living in Greece was really difficult, especially when I had to provide for everything. And those people who are living in England, Holland, or Germany, if you don't pay water, it will be cut off. If you don't pay rent, it will be cut off. Coming to Ukraine and knowing that if you don't pay water tomorrow when it's due to be paid, it will be not cut off. Just knowing this, makes your life much more less pressure. It's not because you don't want to pay, but because just knowing that you have a chance, to make a mistake makes your life easier. And this is third world country here. And the people, they think they are struggling here, but they don't know what does it mean struggling. When they go to America, they find out what it is. Or when they go to Germany, and they cannot delay even one day because they will be punished for this. This is a difference of how people, they see perspective of their what they have or what they don't have. These examples that I have, I wanted to share because we will be writing a book on this, and this can be used. Okay, thank you.
Thank you, Kate.
Thank you.
So, guys, we've done a lot today. Shared a lot. Dr. Sunday shared a lot with you. I hope you go back to this video and watch it again, and also share it with other people. Your curse, your blessing, the paradox of life. So don't forget that. Share with other people. Inspire other people with your stories. You've seen Kate right there. She wasn't embarrassed. She wasn't ashamed. She shared her stories. So please do that as well. Help somebody. Check out your neighbors. Pastor talked about older people today, and it got me thinking that we don't really look after our elderly, and we don't think, even though we might think that we will get older, but we don't actually kind of support the older people. We look at them and just walk by. So I just picked that up from what he was saying today. So if you have somebody older around you, check them out. Check out your neighbors. Say hello. Ask them if they need something. Just be kind. Anyway, I'm off. We're all off. We have service shortly. Don't forget to share, and I will see you again. If something happens that is really interesting, I'll share it with you. I might not say anything because we'll be in the service, so I won't want to disturb the service. But thank you again for joining us. I'll see you again soon. Take care. Bye.